Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is August the 7th. And if for no other reason am I excited, it is my birthday month. Leos are in the building. Let's go. August 11th, to be exact, is the day that the king was born. And so we have began to celebrate that phenomenal month of August. I am biased to believe that this is the best month of the 12 or 13-month calendar, depending upon which calendar you go by. It's always sunny. It's never raining. It's beautiful everywhere. And you know what? It's just a beautiful month to be outside. So I'll be 50 in 4 days. Yes, I just put it out there. I know I don't look like it. You can go ahead and give me the clappy emojis and the fire emojis and all of that because black don't crack. And I take care of myself like it's the most important thing to do on this planet. So let's go. It's Leo season. I'm just super excited. I'm just going to take a pause right there because you know what? It's 31 days in my month and I'm celebrating every single one of them 31 days. Nevertheless, we have got a full agenda for today. My compadre Dan won't be here today. I'm super grateful for him. I've been traveling like crazy over the past couple of weeks from Detroit to San Diego and be home for a couple of weeks. And then I'm back traveling to the East Coast. So I've missed you guys' presence, missed your energy, got a lot to bring to you. We're going to get straight to it. But before we do, we've got two guests on the line. I'm going to introduce the both of them. Was able to connect with them kind of just out of the blue. Brian reached out to me. Just wanted to talk about some flex SOPs, some processes, some procedures as to how we have built our system to be the top producing Zillow Flex team in the San Francisco Bay Area, hands down, period, the end. And we will not vacate that spot, even for the Kinetic team. Right. So without further ado, I'm going to, Brian, you know what this is. I've been gangbanging on you since the very first encounter, but I want to introduce my man, Brian, and his counterpart, Anna. They're with the Kinetic team out of the San Francisco Bay Area. Their founders and Kenny are buds, which makes us buds. We've been sharing information and chopping it up about better practices and strategies. Wanted to invite them to our collective learning space so that they can get a dose of how we operate internally as it relates to our learning environment. So without further ado, Brian, give you the microphone, man. Just introduce yourself to our team. Let us know what you are expecting in this space and what brought you here.
Yeah, my name is Brian with Kinetic. I'm one of the sales leaders for our team, and I recently took over the Zillow Flex team with my business partner, Anna, who's also here. What we realized was we don't really know too much about SOPs. We're kind of like, we're surviving, but we realized we needed to talk to the top dog of Zillow Flex, to get some insight on how he's running the team. And just from the looks of it, it's already very different from how we're doing things. So we're learning a lot, even from a 30-minute conversation with Vernon. What we realized was Vernon is a man, and we look forward to continuing to learn from him and from your team. So,
Hey, man, thank you for the sentiment. Welcome to the space. And I see you taking yourself off of mute. I'm hoping with the intention of having a contribution to the space. So without further ado, Anna, please introduce
Thank
yourself to
you.
our
Thank you,
squad.
Vernon. Thank you,
Welcome.
team. Honestly, like, wow. Like, I love you guys' energy just jumping in. I could tell everybody's online, like, present. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, thank you, Vernon, for having us in your space. My name is Anna. I'm doing operations at Kinetic. And we're just here to learn, to be honest. We're just here to learn and see how Vernon keeps this team top at Flex because Brian and I are just still learning. And even though we've gotten a little bit of traction, we are here to learn from you guys. So we're excited. And thank you so much for having us in your space.
100%, man. I can identify with the position that both of you guys are in. Our team was in that same position about a year ago, and what you're about to witness is a key component of some responsibility for some of the shifts that has happened in our team and why we have been able to produce at an optimal level. It's not me. I'm just the tip of the spear. It's really everyone that you see on this screen that is responsible for us being at the top of that list and staying in that position over an extended period of time. I mean, yes, I'm the performance coach for this team, but without these folks in the screen, we wouldn't be where we are today. So let's get straight to it. before I have someone take us out on the field in our typical conversion clinic fashion, I have a few takeaways for you. Went down to Inman Connect in San Diego last week. Spent a lot of time in the sun. As you can see, I've been sun-kissed, as I said before, but wanted to bring to you some of the key takeaways from a week in Inman. And if all of us in this space should be familiar with what Inman is, what Inman does, what Inman's mission, values, and purposes are, but it's really industry leaders coming together and talking about what's coming in the fold. What's next? What's next after next? And the reason that I find it to be hella important to be in these rooms is because this is where the magic happens, right? It's something about learning from the collective wisdom that just changes your perspective. You may hear something, say something, read something, learn something that I can bring back to our group. Although we are ahead of the curve, we still want to maintain our position as it relates to industry leaders in the San Francisco Bay Area, Northern California. So I'm going to come give you a couple of 3 takeaways that I took. Some will probably be repetitive. And boy, as we were going through these sessions, I'm like, man, another AI session? Really? There was like 30 AI sessions. Okay. And it wasn't until Elias got on the stage, I want to say it was the last day, and his sentiment was, can we have a session where nobody's talking about AI and the whole crowd went crazy? Like, yeah, please, can we please? Including myself. But AI is what it is. Okay. Super apps, coming alongside of us and leveraging that as our assistant is the move. If you are not leveraging technology, if you're not leveraging AI in conjunction with emotional intelligence in sales, you're losing out. Here's what I mean by that. Emotional intelligence in sales is a power. Emotional intelligence fueled by AI is your superpower in production. So do you want to have power, be powerful, or are you the type of agent who walks in your superpower? If you're not leveraging AI, technology super apps to drive your business and enhance your service delivery, you're missing out. Now, I know I'm speaking to a group. We've been talking AI for forever, Chat GPT and all the other super apps, but by a show of hands or some expressions in the chat, how many of you are legitimately leveraging AI to its optimal capacity on a daily basis as your virtual assistant, as your artificial intelligence assistant in everything that you do? Raise your hand. Show of hands, fires in an emoji. Samantha, that name on the top, Dominique, it's 11. What time is it? Can you please get rid of that so I don't see it? It can't be admitted into the space.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. AI combined with emotional intelligence in sales is your superpower. The third takeaway that I had from Inman are systems. Who runs the business? What runs your business? Feel free to take yourself off of mute, put your comment in the chat, but what runs your business? Anyone take a shot at it? Don't everyone contribute at the same time. I will pause, and you know I'll call on someone. You do. Okay, Nicole, any other contributions? What runs your business?
Your leads.
Your leads run your business. Patrick, anyone else?
The processes you put in place.
The processes you put in place. Anyone else? Give me one more contribution. Anyone? Chris, what runs your business?
Your
Chris?
effort.
Oh, get your microphone, bro. Got a microphone. Put
yeah,
the microphone
bruh.
in the picture, make you look more official.
I'm just paying attention right now.
Okay, well, if you pay attention to pay you, Cat Daddy.
That's right. But your effort, though.
Your effort, systems.
You got to do it.
Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, Chris. It is the systems that run your business. Your systems run your business. Here's the more important question. Who creates the systems? I see Lisette pointing to herself. I don't know if you yourself in the head. I don't know what that gesture is, but I'm going to assume.
I think it's a combination of you and in your AI, so I just had some of my stuff broken down because I felt a little bit disorganized with my forms, BRBCs, buyer brochures, and then my open house kits. And so I had AI break everything down on like how I should organize it and then what needs to be, looked at weekly versus. So I think a combination of you and use of AI is like helping the most.
That is correct. I agree with you 100%, right? There's a value in leveraging your human intelligence with AI, period, the end. That becomes your superpower. Now, the question was, who creates the systems? The systems run the business. Who creates the systems? And I saw Julia's response, which was absolutely spot on. You do.
Mhm.
You create the systems that run the business. Okay. So then ultimately, as it relates to a tenet, one of the 5 tenets of conversion mastery is personal accountability. We're going to get into that a little bit today, talking about performance accountability. So I'm letting you know now, some of you are going to be called on. I'm going to have you pull up a few of the most recent leads that you've gathered over the past week, whatever team you're on. Brian and Anna, we have a team schedule. So red team is on 1 week, black team is off. Red team gets all the leads, black team's off. Next week, red team's off. They work their leads that they just received through the pipeline the previous week, and the black team is on. They get all the leads for the week. Okay. So as it relates to your systems, your system is going to design what is produced to design, what is designed to produce, period, the end. So emotional intelligence is a power. Emotional intelligence fueled by AI is your superpower that helps you design the systems that run your business. I heard that over and over and over and over again. What that meant to me, what that said to me was something extremely powerful. You are accountable for your production. You're accountable for your systems. You're accountable for your numbers because the data tells the story. Now, that in conjunction with a bunch of sun, probably too many damn drinks, hanging out in the gas lamp district too long, and probably getting sunburned, those are my takeaways from Inman. Your superpower. Do not settle for being powerful when there's much more in you than being powerful. Does that resonate with everyone? Cool beans. In traditional conversion clinic fashion, we're going to have someone take us out on the field. We are in the tunnel. We're pumped. We're fully geared up. We're ready to go. I'm going to call on someone to take us out onto the field this morning. Who is in the middle of my screen? Jung Hee, you're in the middle of my screen this morning. We're in the tunnel. Yeah, I'm sure you got some kind of Air Jordans on. That's a rare color
What is
combination.
it? What do I have to do?
You're going to take us out on the field.
What does that mean? I'm new to Zillow.
You're new to Zillow, okay? So, matter of fact, I'm going to have you hold on, and I'm going to have somebody else take us on the field. And then when I see you in the space next Thursday or the following Thursday, you'll be the one to take us on the field. So you got a heads up.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, let me call on someone new into this. Rebecca, we're in the tunnel.
I'm new too.
Oh, God, what's up with you on all these new? Okay, Brianna, show them how it's done. Take us out on the field this morning.
Hello, everyone. So this week was amazing, and definitely to go on to the sentiment of AI. I have been having AI write my emails and my text messages and add in a flair, and the response has been amazing.
Mm.
So this week has been great. Zillow is an amazing asset, and I missed you guys for 2 weeks of no conversion clinic. So we're happy to be back and raring up and ready to go.
Well, we miss you too. And to your sentiment, absolutely 100% leverage AI as your virtual assistant, period, the end, in every aspect of your life. We crushed it last month. Get into a little bit of data. We're going to talk about wins for the week, and then we're going to get straight into our content. Last month, our goal was 9.1, I believe, and our actual number hit was 18. So we were at 197% the target. I think I set a threshold for the team of 15 last month. You guys surpassed that by leaps and bounds. We're already into August. I believe that our transaction number has increased a bit to like 11. I'm setting the same expectation for those of us in the group, including myself. 15 is our goal for this month. We're already at the 7th. I think we're at 5. Okay. So what do you have to do as it relates to your superpower, tightening up the bolts in your system so that you can produce at an optimal capacity to make sure that your name is on that leaderboard this month? It's summer. We got 5 months left, 4 months left in the year. Yes, we've already crushed our yearly goal that we set at the beginning of the year. Now we're setting new heights and higher bars. The question now becomes, are you using emotional intelligence in sales? Matter of fact, let me share my screen really quick. Can everyone see my screen? Boom, boom. Lisa, can you read that, please? And then tell us what that means to you.
I sure can. Hold, please. You stay in you stay in the struggle until you get the lesson.
Okay, that obviously struck a nerve with someone here.
It did. That is powerful.
Snaps and chokes and so forth. Tell us what that means to you.
I mean, this is just in general and in life. There's a lesson in everything that you do, right? But there's going to be a struggle. But there doesn't have to be a struggle for forever. So until you learn the lesson, you're going to be struggling. So learn the lessons quickly on so you don't continue struggling in your business.
How many of you, by a show of hands, if you graded yourself fairly, would say that you're struggling in some capacity in your business? I see 1. I see 2. I see 3. Let me change my view. Okay. You're going to stay in that struggle until you get the lesson. Is the lesson your cadence? Is the lesson your follow-up? Is the lesson leveraging emotional intelligence in sales? You'll stay in the struggle until you get the lesson. Why? Because the magic happens on the other side of the struggle. The conversion percentages that you're looking for, they happen on the other side of that struggle. When you get the lesson, the magic happens. This translates it perfectly into what we're going to be talking about today in reference to a couple of the tenets of conversion. We all know this. We've seen this before. We've dissected this in great detail, but there's an art and a science to conversion mastery. We're going to talk about 2 of those, but more importantly, 1 of the 2. But the first art of conversion mastery is your accountability mindset. Like that's the cornerstone of your exceptional performance or not. And today we're going to spend a little bit more time around your performance accountability system, your mindset, and so forth. But even more importantly than that, and I think that this kind of piggybacks on some of the takeaways from Inman, is emotional intelligence in sales. I have a question for someone that I would love to have some contributions from at least 2 of you guys on this call. What does emotional intelligence in sales mean to you? That's the question. What does emotional intelligence in sales mean to you? I'm going to ask you to raise your hand so that there's a bunch of faces on the screen. Okay, we got a couple of contributors. I'll wait for one more so that we can create a robust, substantive conversation around this very important tactic. What does emotional intelligence in sales mean to you? Patrick, I'll call on you first. Brianna, you're on deck, and I'll be looking for the third person to contribute. Patrick, what does emotional intelligence in sales mean to you?
I think emotional intelligence for me is using your empathy at the right moment and using the data that you have and knowledge you have and utilizing that in order to create business intimacy and creating that break in between that to create a better relationship and rapport with that person or that client.
Bro, you flowed so fluently on that. I'm going to ask you to repeat that one more again for the people in the back or for the folks with their camera off.
Yeah. So emotional intelligence for me is is using empathy at the right moment and using your data and your knowledge as well of the market and utilizing that to create business intimacy and breaks in between, your usual business schedule, creating more rapport and intimacy with that lead.
I love the term that you used, and it was so powerful, bro. You used it twice. Intimacy. Okay? Emotional intelligence in sales derives from intimacy established with your client through human interaction. How do we do that? We ask the questions that matter to them. Not what matters to you to close the transaction, what matters to them. Okay? And then listening actively by being present to learn how they tick and connecting with them on a human level. When we implement emotional intelligence in sales, production is just a result of that. It's automatic. Not only that, you're winning a client forever. Okay?
There's this new facial here too.
Well, where's your face so we can see that? How about that?
Yeah.
Can't even hear you. See? Kicking back in your white beater on your couch with your hand laid up like the top producer of the team that you are.
Hey, I'm over here
Oh,
listening.
my
I'm
damn
learning.
audience.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in my comfort zone. You know what I'm saying?
Good to see you. Yes, sir. Hey, great contribution, my brother. Thank you, Patrick and Kuhn. Brianna, what does emotional intelligence in sales mean to you?
Connection and slowing down and like listening, letting them talk, letting them express themselves, and then making that connection. A lot of times I think we get frazzled in the appointment and slowing down, paying attention, making that connection, and being authentic.
I love that. Authenticity is a very undervalued energy in sales, right? Emotional intelligence for me and for most of us is building a connection. It's relationship over transactions. Period. The end. When you approach a client from the human perspective, asking questions that matter to them, to get an understanding of how you can position yourself as their advisor to best serve them, that's where the production happens. That's where we grow on a human level beyond the commission, is when we're literally being intentional about really infusing the muscle of emotional intelligence into sales. When we ask questions that matter to them, what are we doing? We're identifying what their pain points are, which gives you an opportunity to transform any of those objections into meaningful discussions. Oftentimes, folks are approaching a client from a transactional lens, and what's the result of that? If your cadence and sequence and rhythm is not on point from the very beginning, you've already lost, starting off delayed out the starting block. Why? Because individuals can pick up when you're trying to sell them on something, when you're trying to persuade them to do something. They can also pick up on the energy of when you're truly invested in them. And that is when you're going to maximize your output, period, the end. It sounds simple, but there's a true art and a true science to this. Let me stop sharing my screen really quick. Yeah, we don't want to do that just yet. Okay. I'm going to pull up some numbers and we're going to have a substantive conversation. This is not going to be Coach V preaching to you tenets today. It's not going to be Coach V talking pause and frameworks. And we need to have a conversation. Yes, we're crushing our numbers. Yes, our production is beyond what it should be. But there are some bolts and some nuts that are loose in our engine that is preventing us from producing at an optimal level. And that's what I want to talk about today. Now, before I get into this performance accountability session, I have a disclaimer. Over the past 2 months, 3 months, our lead flow has increased by 300%, while our roster has only increased by 25%. So I'm going to preface the data that I'm going to put on the screen with that understanding. Our lead flow is up 300%. Our roster, building out our roster, it's only increased by 25%. I understand that with an increase in lead flow of 300% and only an additional 25% of agents and some who may be paused for different reasons, I understand that that's going to have a direct impact on our answer rate. Not mad at that. However, there are some things that we need to talk about to get some clarity around this. I'm going to put these numbers up on our screen really quick, and then we're going to get into, damn, I can't see this, the conversation. Brianna, you're going to be first. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, July. To the point, our answer rate, it's the first time in months that it's been not above the threshold. I attribute that to the increase in lead flow by 300% with only an increase in our roster by 25%. Okay. What I want to talk about though is this top funnel metric. You guys, our goal was 9.1. We hit 18, 197% to target. But our answer rate, our pickup rate is 58%, and our appointment set rate was at 50%. There's a delta between our set and our met at 21%. That delta is too wide. We close that delta statistically, it increases our numbers automatically. Some of this is as a result of updating lead statuses and lazy agents not updating their lead status. Some of this is a result of having a tremendous uptick in lead flow and not enough agents to absorb those leads, which we're addressing both in our Central Valley team and our Bay Area team. But some of this is just about performance accountability, rhythm, cadence, flow, sequence between certain metrics. We're talking appointment set and appointment met. Brianna, I want you to pull up for me your 2 most recent leads. And I want to talk about your rhythm, your sequence, and your cadence for setting the appointment and meeting the appointment. We're going to start right there. Pull it up. Samandy, I'm going to call on you next.
I'm on my phone. So are you going to want me to screen share it?
Everyone has an excuse.
No, I ain't got no excuse. Boo, if you would have told me, I would have had it ready.
Samandy's on, what's up with the Stockton team? Samandy's on her damn phone. Brianna's on her damn phone. Steffi doesn't have her profile picture up. I mean, it doesn't have, it's on, what's going on here?
Unprepared. I'm unprepared. Okay.
Let's
right.
On my way to the office from my mom's doctor's appointment.
let this be the first and last week of unpreparedness. Who has got their screen on the camera? Who's got their face in the camera? Lisa.
Vernon, I will say this. This whole week of leads, I've been using the golden text. So I've gotten we talked about it in the meeting. So most of mine have been the real-time tours. So as soon as I'm getting it, I'm sending that golden text. Only 1 out of the 6 that I've sent it to has not responded. Everyone else immediately responded, and I've been meeting my appointments.
So what Brianna's referring to is a text that we have kind of crafted that is money as it relates to locking in the RTT request. Okay, Brianna, share with the team in a little bit greater detail when you speak of the golden text as a standard response to a real-time touring request, what that is. Give it to them.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up.
And I also want you to share with the team how that has impacted the securing of setting that appointment and then meeting that appointment. So what was your appointment met percentage as a result of those you sent out the golden text to? And then what was that appointment met?
I sent it to 6 people.
Okay.
And I have met 4 of them. One of them is on Sunday, which I've been in connection with her. So I would say out of 6, 5 of them I've met with, and they answered immediately, and I was able to get the appointments and show them houses.
Excellent. Show real market data, real case studies that this shit works. Share with us, Brianna.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to my been in so much.
Proper preparation prevents a poor performance.
I'm sorry. That's where I would have my.
Do we need to come back to you?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm pulling it up in just a second. Sorry.
Anna, are you on your computer? What the hell is up with the Central Valley team?
I'm on my phone, but I'm in front of my computer.
Okay, well, then let's go to. I want you to pull up your 2 most recent leads. I want to hear about your were there any objections in terms of a delta between appointment set and appointment met? How did you handle that objection, and what was the barrier?
So I have 2. One was Jessica Scarber, which I partnered up with Chris, and she was very responsive from the get-go. I called her, confirmed our appointment, asked to add some more properties. She said yes, emailed her the additional properties, got into a group text with her, Chris, and myself, set up all the appointments for the other homes that she wanted to see. Very responsive. Added the additional homes, confirmed the appointment. In the next day, Chris reached out to her, said, "Hey, I'm Chris. I'm going to be taking you on tour today. I'm partners with Anna." They met, and so it's flowing, and she's communicating back with us. Unfortunately, she's not looking for herself, so we're trying to figure that out. We're trying to get her to connect us with her family member that she wanted to look at those houses for. The other one was one that confirmed everything with me. I sent her additional properties right before my appointment. I said, "Hey, I'm sending you over a tour authorization sheet." And she hung up on me.
Oh, love those.
So she hung up on me, and so I called her back. She didn't answer, so I sent her a text. I said, "I believe we got disconnected." So instead of sending her the property showing, I sent her the Zillow document because I feel like it kind of went together. And she didn't open it, nothing. And then she did text me an hour before our appointment and said her boyfriend got called into work, so she had to reschedule. I said, "Not a problem. Are you available Thursday or Friday at the same time to take a look at those at the property?" She didn't respond to me. I sent her a message yesterday as a follow-up, asking her again, is she available today or tomorrow to take a look at the properties at the same time or another time, and no follow-up. But yeah, I'm gonna send her a video today.
That was going to be my very next question to you. for those leads who are engaged and then they disengage, if they're not replying to text and they're not replying to email, which is antiquated, played out,
No, those are messages. Those are actual messages and texts. I didn't send her emails at all. They were phone calls and messages from Follow Up Us.
So Michael, perfect. Which which should be the rhythm.
Text messages, yeah, text messages. It was phone call, text message after she hung up on me, called her back, then text her, and then I did a follow-up text yesterday because I was out of the office most of the time.
When does the video follow-up come into play?
Today.
Fantastic.
I'm a stalker. As
you should be. We all should be legal stalkers, right? No one's registered with any kind of associations and shit. We should be. It's cool to stalk in this business. Thank you for that. Thank you for that contribution. Brianna, you ready to go?
Yes.
Let's go.
Golden text it's really very simple text. Hi, Maria. It's Brianna with Fast Real Estate. Zillow sent me your info, and I'm excited to give you a tour of 878 Snow Goose today or Sunday at 1:30. Just to confirm, does that time still work for you? And immediately she responded, yes, it does. I responded, is there any other properties in the area? She said no. Then she went into explaining to me why she wanted to see this property. Her brother lives next door. Said, okay, great. We set the time and I met her at the property. They love the property. We're currently working on financing.
Currently working on financing. Okay, I love that. For those of you all who have an appointment set rate of less than 80% and a met with rate of less than 45%, what's preventing that? Now, I don't want to go into our database and pull up each agent's number. That's not what this is today. You know if your appointment set metric is below the threshold, and you know if your appointment met metric is below the threshold. I want to hear what some of the barriers are that you're experiencing in this collective space so that we can collectively come up with some solutions, ideas, and better practices on how you bridge that delta. Now, I can definitely go into the Zillow back end and pull up everyone's numbers, and then we could just go down the list and have a conversation around what barriers we're experiencing as to why we're not hitting those numbers. But you know your numbers better than anyone else. So for those of you who may be having some challenges with setting the actual appointment and then going and meeting that appointment, I want to hear from you. What are some of your real-time, most recent barriers as to why you have not been able to set that appointment? Now, I don't mind calling on someone, but I would much rather prefer someone volunteer. Is that my hand being raised? No, everyone's appointment set rate is at 80%?
I had a situation one time where I went to the property myself and did a virtual tour.
Okay.
And the property was listed at 500,000, and that's pretty low for Daly City. But when I talked to the listing agent, the transparent price was 827. Then when I told the client, right, I could give you the address and everything so you could look it up. But when I told the client, he was like, well, I'm kind of discouraged now because it came off as a scam, and I no longer want to go forward. So what I did was I just kept following up with him, and I also saw that he was looking for homes to rent or to lease or whatever, to rent. And I just sent him other properties that was in his price range. But I kept calling, following up. He said, Chris, I'm not interested anymore. So I could send you that property so I could show you what I'm talking about. I did a whole video.
It looks like the address has been put in the chat and confirmed by Patrick and Brian. So I think that Anna as well. Okay. So, maybe you guys can help me out with this San Francisco market. I've heard of, this marketing, and it's in Alameda too. It's in certain markets in the Bay Area. The pricing is not uber transparent, but I've never heard of a comp supporting 850 and the list price 350K below what we know value supports. I've never heard that. So
this is actually a one-off, Brendan. I think it's a horrible pricing strategy on the listing agent's part. It's become a nuisance for a lot of our agents here at Kinetic. So as this is a one-off, and unfortunately it's on Zillow, so we're getting a ton of calls about it too.
So I would assume.
And it's free or something like that?
Yep, exactly.
Exactly. So how many of you guys have gotten the San Francisco team? How many of you guys have gotten a call about that? Patrick, I'm sure you have. Chris has. Okay. Okay. So this is an interesting objection. I'd be curious to hear from the collective wisdom how you would engage a lead as such. 500,000 in Daly City, we already know that's going to get everybody's attention. I think that was the intention from the listing agent, although they just totally missed it with their approach by listing something over $250,000 below list price in Daly City, right? But the client wants to see a property. They went to the platform. They scheduled a tour. They requested to be connected to an agent. You get them on the phone. You do your due diligence. You set the appointment. You come back with the information. It may or may not be a scam. And then immediately, if that is what fueled their fire to trigger a showing, how do you keep the fire burning?
It was also a listing on the same block that popped up 2 days later. That was the pricing that it should be. And I sent that to him and it was in his price range. Like, Chris, I'm done with the process. Just want to wait.
So there is where we experience that emotional roller coaster from a buyer who's excited. Oh shit, that ain't gonna work. I'm cool off of it. But their initial why still exists. They're still in the market. They're still looking for a deal. They still want to live in that market in that specific area. How, for those in this room, if you were in Chris's scenario, what strategic approach would you implement? Leveraging emotional intelligence, I'm going to give you a hint, to keep that client engaged.
Well, first and foremost, is it a trend in that area to go above? And how much above do we go from list price to sales price? Because if it is a trend and he is emotional about being tricked, obviously I'm going to give him the space. Let's talk about it because it does feel like it feels deceiving, right? But then I'm going to run comps and I'm going to show him comps that show that same deception, if you will, so that you can help him understand. Yes, it feels deceiving, but it is a trend in this market and it's the normal. So let's be prepared. So in the future, when you're ready to come back, your mind is prepared for that trend because what you're seeing is not going to be your final sales price and it is going to be drastic. Because that's ultimately the issue, right? He feels deceived and he wants to buy a home. And if that's the trend in his market, he's going to continue to see that trend. So how do you overcome him not feeling deceived? Showing him the data.
Well, the numbers always tell the story. Thank you for that contribution. The numbers always tell the story. We know that. But looking at it from in a lens of emotional intelligence in sales and putting ourselves in the shoes of that buyer and then being empathetic around the roller coaster that they're experiencing and then creating our response that answers or provides a solution to the reality of the emotion that they're experiencing. Let's not even talk about real estate. Let's talk about that emotion of disappointment that someone is experiencing around the home search, which we know is a roller coaster. So as their advisor, as the real estate professional, one who's leveraging emotional intelligence and incorporating that strategic approach into everything that you do around sales, find the pain point and speak to the human who's experiencing that pain point. That room with the black mold, oh, everybody's going crazy around this. Does that make sense to you guys? Chris, you got your hand back up. What's your contribution, brother?
Can I show you guys how I responded to him?
Please do. Of course, we want to see it in real time. Are you sharing your screen? There you go.
Oh shit, it was right there.
Love it. Chris, I'm putting you on blast. You got to maximize your screen, and now I want to see everything. I want to see your lead status is in conjunction and congruence with your tasks. I want to see that his search history. Let me see his search history right there. 1373 Minna. Put your cursor over that. When was that? No, you went too fast. Just put your cursor over the top address. A day ago. When's the last time you talked to him?
I haven't talked to him about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I was trying to give him some room
Go
to
to the
maybe
next property.
all these right here are apartments because that's all he's looking at now. After that,
After,
after this right here, that happened.
okay, let's do that. So I also want to see what his search activity looks like as it
Okay.
relates to your last outreach to him, outbound outreach.
So show me where to go with that.
No, you can show me you can show us what you wanted to show us first in terms of.
Oh yeah, that was just the follow-up.
So you did break down the recent comps.
I did everything. I got the whole comps right here.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to go into your CMA.
Okay, for sure. I'm just
we see
know,
it. Love it. Love
you know
it. Okay.
So I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
I want you to go back to that buyer activity tab. On the right. Let me see all of them.
Right here, right?
Yes.
And that's what popped up. So he's straight apartments.
August 3rd, July 28th. Okay, keep going. So here's my question to you. Let's get out of that.
All right.
This client is still actively engaged in the market, but I don't see any follow-up cadence that is connected to his search behavior.
Right.
So yeah, it may be emotionally distraught, but he's still in the market.
Like I said, I was just trying to give him a little breathing room. Like, all right, let him get a little bit more confidence because I kept hitting him, and he just stopped responding. So I'm like, all right, let me let bro breathe a couple weeks and then come back to him.
And I like the idea of giving him a little bit of time, but you still stay abreast to what his activity is, right? Have you engaged with him via video?
Yes, I sent him a video of me at the property.
Okay. Have you engaged with him via video after the emotional meltdown?
No.
Why not?
I could get back to him. Like I said, I was trying to let him breathe, but I can get back on that this week.
Yeah, and I would encourage you too. Why? Because his buyer activity is telling you something different, right? His buyer activity is telling you that he was just on Zillow yesterday. So then let's recognize that and then leverage it. Hey, man, I know we got let down on that. But not all listing agents are created the same. Not everyone operates with authenticity and integrity as they're creating, so on and so forth. But I see you're still looking in the market. Here's what I found for you, just to be proactive in a video. Okay. Add the links to the body of the email below the video. The reason that I want to encourage everyone to use videos because we can monitor the analytics. I'm preaching to the choir. We talk about this all the time. Okay. There's a value in leveraging video to engage with the client who is emotionally disengaged, but still is physically engaged. So emotional intelligence as it relates to this scenario here would require for you to be a little more creative in your outreach, Chris, leveraging what you see his behavior, what his behavior is actually showing you most recently. Video. Okay, does anyone have any other contributions, better practices, approaches for Chris in this scenario with potentially engaging a client who has become emotionally distraught or frustrated as it relates to a home search? Anyone? Going once, going twice? Hearing none.
I got something for you, Chris, that potentially could prevent this from happening in the future. This is happening to some of our agents too. We call it don't be a bad news bear. Right? Like, he's trying to get into this property because he's very interested in it. But you did your research on the property and on the back end, you heard that, hey, the seller's expecting this much, right? That's bad news to your client, right? But which you haven't met yet. And so by delivering that bad news before you even get to the appointment, you've then prevented yourself from giving yourself the opportunity to build further rapport in person. So what we usually do is when the person is asking us for an appointment, we'll usually try to answer as many questions as possible during the appointment, not beforehand. So we'll say, hey, those are some great questions. I'll get all the answers that you're asking me. let's meet at the property, and then I can answer all these questions for you once I have them, right? At least then preventing you from delivering the bad news that will then prevent that client from then moving it forward into the next home. So that could be
That's another emotional intelligence thing right there.
so
Got you.
that, and yeah, see if that helps, you know. What we're trying to accomplish is we're trying to get to that first appointment, right? Because if we can't get to the first appointment, then we can't build rapport. And so we try not to deliver any bad news when they call up until when we get to the appointment.
And you know what, Brian, I appreciate your contribution. And to Brian's point, you know, we talk about this regularly. When there's a lead who's requesting a tour of a property that's pending, we still set the appointment. Okay. We let them know that it's pending when we get to the property, but we also have other properties in our pocket that we can show them that are of the similar profile within the same buying power and so on and so forth, same price point and so on and so forth. So to Brian's point, what he's suggesting, and I agree with it 100%, is find a solution. You're the advisor. They're looking for you for advice. When we leverage emotional intelligence, excuse me, and incorporate that into our sales strategy, we become solution-based consultants. They're looking to us for the solution. We're the professional. So to not be the bearer of bad news, the opposite of that is to be the conveyor of solutions. And that's the emotional intelligence component that we're talking about. So Brian, thank you for your contribution. Chris, thank you for the feedback and all that you who have contributed today just around this general discussion. Again, this is a conversation today, but here's my charge to you before we end. Everyone on this call is an elite converter unless you wouldn't be in this room, period. If you're not operating at your optimal capacity, check yourself. You're responsible for what you're producing, period. You're responsible for having your systems in place. It's period. No one else can take any accountability for your life and your decisions in your world and in your business. I'm going to challenge you. We're 8 months into the year. How's the last 4 months of your year going to look? Do you have some vacations planned for the fall? Are you taking your family somewhere for the holidays? Are there going to be gifts galore? Is it going to be smiles? How are your children going to feel? What are you willing to do? Because as you know, when our leads are on, this phone is ringing, whether we post a real prospect or not. Are you ready for the call? Are your systems in place to close out the year with hella momentum going into 2026? Our lead flow will continue to increase, ladies and gentlemen. There will continue to be an abundance of conversion opportunities for you. When your phone rings and you pick up the phone, have you mastered your cadence, your rhythm, and your sequence that will result in your family living a lifestyle that you envision for you and them? I'll close with this. We're all human beings in this work, and this is some tough shit. How many of us have had some pretty bad days in the workspace? Go ahead, show your hands, be human. I see nods. How many of us have had some pretty fucked up days in this space? Here's my closing sentiment to you. On your very worst days, help someone. When you're having a shitty ass day, step out of yourself and help someone else. And then see how you feel once you've changed, once you put a smile on somebody else's in their world on your worst day. I promise you, the seeds that you sow, you will produce a harvest. That seed that you sow will come back to you. But on your very worst day, help somebody else. Take that spirit into this weekend. If you're on the black team, you're on. I'm on the black team. Let's crush some shit. Your phone rings, answer the damn phone. Set the appointment. Run your conversion play. Meet the appointment. And always lead with emotional intelligence, because we're in the human business under the umbrella of sales. Yo, have a great weekend. Crush that shit this weekend. Until I see you next Thursday, grace, peace, and blessings to you. Catch you next time. Peace.